It was a night like any other, or so I thought, as I lay in my bed staring at the ceiling of my apartment. The world outside was quiet, almost eerily so, which was unusual for the bustling city that normally thrived with noise no matter the hour. Something felt off, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. The city lights reflected dimly through my window, casting shadowy patterns that danced around my room like silent phantoms. I lived alone, adjusting to adulthood, tackling the responsibilities that come with an independent life. My small apartment felt cozy during the day, but took on an entirely different character when the sun dipped below the horizon. The walls seemed to close in, and every creak or whisper of the night sounded amplified by 100. The ticking of the clock was my constant companion, its steady rhythm echoing the passage of time that seemed to stand still, yet race forward simultaneously. As I drifted into a restless slumber, a loud crash jolted me awake. My heart raced as my mind hastily tried to piece together what could have caused such a noise. Was it a dream? But no, the room remained silent, holding its breath, as if waiting for something unimaginable to unfold. The darkness felt thicker than before, pressing down with an unspoken weight, and I could feel every muscle in my body tense with the anticipation of what lay beyond the comforting familiarity of my bed. I sat up cautiously, my eyes scanning the shadows that danced around my bedroom. The dull ticking of the wall clock was the only sound besides my own panicked breathing. I decided to investigate, convincing myself it was probably just something innocuous, a stack of books I hadn't properly balanced, or perhaps the temperamental window pane coming loose again. Yet, as I stood and took my first step, the atmosphere crackled with a tension that suggested otherwise. As I tiptoed out of my bedroom into the hallway, uncertainty settled in my stomach, twisting it into knots. Each step made the floorboards creak under my weight, echoing through the long, empty space that felt suddenly foreign. The hallway stretched ahead like a tunnel into unknown realms, its shadows pulsing with an unsettling life, and every glance around seemed to suggest hidden eyes watching my every move. Reaching the living room, I saw nothing out of place, but the feeling persisted, heavy, sinister. That's when I noticed the front door was ajar, ever so slightly, as if just nudged open. A fierce chill ran down my spine. I distinctly recalled locking it before bed, checking it twice, as was my habit after the stories I'd heard in the city. Yet here it was, taunting me with the possibility of an uninvited guest, hidden from sight, yet somehow present in the oppressive silence. Mustering all the courage I could, I approached, determined to close it and elevate this scenario back to mere imagination. This was my domain, my sanctuary, and I was reluctant to believe there was anything to fear. But that's when I heard it, a subtle, deliberate shuffling behind me. Every horror story I'd ever heard crashed into my mind like a tidal wave. I could sense a presence, the looming shadow of someone or something watching, waiting. All sense of reason evaporated, replaced by pure, unadulterated fear. Turning slowly, I faced the room expecting the worst, my imagination painting some ghastly apparition or an eerie intruder who had slipped inside in the night. What I saw, however, left me both relieved and bewildered. It was just my neighbor's cat, Max, the fluffy, endearing tabby who often roamed the building halls with an air of boldness.